It is March, and we're headed to the ACC tournament where Duke is squaring off with Boston College. We've got a promo code. The code is MAD, M-A-D, for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. Duke, big favorites in this one, minus 12.5, and that number is steadily climbing. A total of 152.5, and that number is going. We've got Kurt Alexander to break this one all down for us. Kurt, initial thoughts on Duke and Boston College and this really big number for Duke to cover?
Yeah, Chelsa, it's 12 up from 11 and a half. And these two teams played on January 6th, and it was 83-82. Duke ended up pulling away and winning that game. But if you want to look at that first game a little closer, Duke COVID leave. So that was their first game in 10 days. And John Shire was actually coaching the game that day because Coach K wasn't available. So that's a little misleading, the 83-82 finals. And when you look at BC, they had a point guard, Rich Kelly. Rich Kelly scored 16 points that game. He was pretty much carrying the team that game. Rich Kelly won't be playing, so that's an advantage for Duke. The thing that I don't like about this game is all the money coming in on Duke. Everybody knows that Duke really needs to perform well in this tournament in order to make the dance. And their hopes are pretty slim right now. 12.5. It's just a little car with Duke right there, especially with the BC team that's going to play till the end. So when you think about late points, meaningless points, I guess you could say, in a game like this, especially with these two teams really not having a great season, I definitely liked the 12.5 points, and I'll take Boston with the points here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it's about Boston College at all. It's about Duke and this big spread. This is not a team that's been good against the number in general this season. Obviously, they've looked better. Well, no, I think their past few games have been getting beat, but they had a stretch there where they were actually covering some numbers. But when you're talking about a double-digit spread, they've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you know how many of those they covered? None. They have not covered a double-digit spread this season. So I don't see why they would be doing it now because, like you said, these are not teams playing to cover numbers, and I think that's too big of a number, especially in March when really anything can happen. And this is not a Duke team that is very trustworthy at winning games straight up or covering numbers. So I just think it boils down to that. 12.5 is a ton of points in a conference tournament game. Looking at a total here, it's relatively high, I believe. It is 152.5. But both of these teams have been allowing quite a few points. Any leanings there?
Yes, both of them actually put up a lot of shots. When you look at the shots per game, both of them stay within the 60 to 65 range. And yeah, that helps me go with the over in this game as well. Like I said, these aren't good teams. This is the bottom half of the conference basically facing off against each other. And I don't think defense is going to be a big key here in this game. So I'd like this game to go over the total. It is climbing up. So just like with the spread, you might have, an issue as far as trying to get the best number. But I will still take it over that 153.
Right, because if you look at Boston College, and this is kind of expected, they've allowed 80 points, 93 points, and 90 points in their last three. And then you've got Duke, who you think would be a little better. No, they've allowed 91, 81, and 80. So it's not even just the offenses, it's their defenses allowing quite a few points. At that, and then just over the course of the season, both these teams a little bit hotter to the over, 13-6 to the over for Boston College, and 14-7-1 to the over for Duke. Any other thoughts you think bettors should know before placing a wager on this one?
Definitely get the best number, like I said. If you, for all backers out there, basically you have to win the game by 13 or more. So just be careful with that. Games like this, you might want to even look as far as in play, as far as getting an even better number while the game has started, just in case you don't want this, you don't want to lay 13. The game might start off slow, be able to get 6 or a 7 early on in games, because you've seen the first half of some of these games, the favored team doesn't always come out ahead, and they usually get a better number for you coming back on the second half. So yeah, I definitely think to be careful as far as laying a big spread like that. If you are a Duke backer, try to see if you can get a better number.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you brought up a great point about live betting, because sometimes if you think the team is the better team and they come out super cold and you look at their shooting percentage to start the game, say they start the game, 0 for 7 from 3-point line, but they're a good 3-point shooting team, you'd think eventually that they'd come back to what they normally do. But that's going to do it for our college hoops talk here on Picks and Parlays. Great stuff from Kurt Alexander. Kurt, thanks for joining us.